Hey there, welcome to my channel, Ro Can Sew. I'm Ro, and this is #Friday Sews. So, sewing update from the sewing room. First is a non-sewing update. So, my sewing room has gotten a little out of hand recently, and it has been adding a lot of frustration to me and causing the grumps, shall we say. So, I spent a day kind of going through my sewing space and tidying. There were cords everywhere. It was a tripping hazard. It was turning into an area that was not conducive for what I wanted to be doing in here. So I just took some time, tried to move some furniture around, tried to tidy up a bit, and try to make the space more workable. As for actual sewing, I just finished making a pair of denim jeans. I'll see if I can insert a card somewhere. And I don't know if you can see them hiding back there in the shadows, but they're still awaiting the back seam repair that needs to be made. And you'll have to watch the video to know what I'm talking about. But yeah, they're still lying in wait, and I'm moving on to my next project. So the next project is actually an addition or a continuation of two projects ago. So before the jeans, I had made a pair of pants out of a yarn-dyed two-tone cotton fabric. I had made this Simplicity 9479. So I made views B and C before the jacket and the pants. And the first time I made it out of a stretch woven, which is one of the fabric recommendations. And I wanted to remake that pattern in a non-stretch woven to compare the fit. So the first time I made the cropped pair of pants, and I made the jacket, according to the pattern instructions. And outside of removing length from the pants, I don't think I made any real fit adjustments to the pattern at that time. I kind of just wanted to see how the straight size 10 was going to work for me. After reviewing those images, I decided this time around when I make the jacket to remove 1/2 inch from the appropriate lengthen and shorten lines as notated on the pattern between the neck and the hem, basically at the waistline. I removed a 1/2 inch just to see if maybe if that would tweak the fit slightly. I'm not a fit expert, so this is all a new exploration for me. So I've already adjusted my front and back pattern pieces, and I already cut my fabric, which is sitting here on my cutting table. But for reference, just to kind of get an idea of why I wanted to make the jacket to go with the pants, I will, if I didn't insert a card or a card to that video, I'll try to do so also. But I remade the pants 2 videos back, and I made this cropped pair where I embellished the bottom hem, and I embellished the waistband and the pocket openings. This is pretty subdued embellishing for me, so I just outlined the waistband and embellished the pockets here. And I wanted to make the jacket kind of complement that. Things that I wanted to do differently were the original pattern, and the way I made it the first time was to have a hidden button placket down the front. So you cut out 2 separate front pieces. One is the under layer, and then you have the outer layer and the over or outer layer on your opposite side, right and left sides. One side has a lot of extension that you fold over to create the hidden button placket. I didn't want to do that this time, and there were a few reasons why. One was just when I did it the first time, the fabric that I used was kind of thick and spongy, and then with all of the turning and folding, that sort of added layers. And then because I decided to stabilize the button band location, because I thought that that was going to help me create a better and more uniform buttonhole, the interfacing that I used, I extended it all the way up to the full length of the band. So at the very tops, by the time you manipulated and turned all the layers, it got kind of bulky. I wanted to avoid that this time. In addition to that, I wanted to create a exposed neck facing because I wanted to have the jacket again complement the pants. And one of the ways I thought I would do that is to expose the neck facing and do some decorative stitching and elements on the neck and then like fray the edge of the neck facing. I thought that I would then expose the front button bands. I've done that before on some of the shirts I've made for my husband. So I thought I would do that here. But after I cut my pattern pieces out and I have it laying on my table, I'm kind of at a stopping point because I'm not really sure where to go from here. So what I've done so far, the back pattern piece, which is very simple, I already had that cut out. I have these super long darts already pinned in place. They're just not sewn yet, but this is ready to have the darts sewn, which is, there's really not much going on with the back piece. You know, this jacket is designed to be unlined, so it's kind of just a shell, really. The front pieces, again, I didn't want to do the whole hidden button placket, so instead of cutting two separate fronts, I just cut two of the one side of the jacket that just has enough of the button extension to fold under and tuck in your seam allowance just to create the button band so the fronts could overlap there, but not do the whole millions of folds for the hidden button placket. So I have those two pieces cut and they're laying here. And then the neck facings, which are the only other pieces that are required, I cut the back facing out and then the front facing, because the pattern is designed to have the neck facing, this is where it would sit at the shoulder seam, and it will stop before you get to the end of the fronts of your jacket pieces. That way it doesn't get too bulky in the button band area. It's designed to stop kind of here. But if I want my neck facing exposed and I want to have a fray along this edge, I needed to extend this piece out to make sure that when I get done embellishing it and I attach it to my jacket, I have enough extra fabric here to fully cover the entire fronts of the jackets. I hope that makes sense. So I measured about, I think this ended up being 1.5 inches extra. I just laid my pattern piece of the facing on top of the front pattern piece, and then I just measured from the edge of the pattern piece to where the edge of the center front was going to be. And then I made sure to add extra for seam allowance, and I may have given myself a little bit of buffer just in case, just to make sure that I had enough so when I attach this, I can have enough extra seam allowance to work with here. And now I'm just thinking in my head, did I do this correctly? I think I did. We'll see. That's yet to be determined. But my front pieces are sitting out here because in my mind, I was thinking that I'll embellish the top of the neck to kind of simulate the bottom hem of the pants, but like this, you know, to go around the neck, you know, almost like a Chanel jacket, but not. And then the sleeve openings, I was going to outline with the black yarn, kind of like I have my waistband outlined. And from there, I have some options with regards to finishing of the button band and finishing of the bottom hem. Originally, I was thinking I'll just outline the sleeve, outline the bottom hem, expose the button band going down, and expose the neck facing. But as I started to think about that and think about it in connection with the pants, I just want to be mindful of not making the jacket too busy. So I'm looking at my pattern pieces and I'm trying to decide what parts to actually embellish and what parts not to embellish, or what parts to fray and what parts not to fray. I'll try to turn you around so you can see the front pieces a little bit, and maybe that will help you see what I'm trying to say, and then maybe you can leave a comment as to what your opinion is. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, but I'm open to hearing what your suggestions are. So let me move the camera here. So these are the fronts of my jacket. Right now I have, like I said, I cut two of one of the sides so that the button front will just fold over, the seam allowance will get tucked in, and then the fronts will overlap where the center line is. I'm trying to decide whether I want my button bands exposed on the front, and do I want them outlined? Do I want them exposed with a decorative frayed edge? Do I want the sleeves of my jacket outlined in black only, or do I want those to have a little bit of fray and decorative top stitching? And then also the hems. Do I want the hems just outlined in black to coordinate with the pants, or do I want those to be embellished and have some decorative top stitching and fray? I do know that I want to do the decorative top stitching to the neckband and then have that frayed, which is why all my yarn is sitting here to try to imagine what that might look like up here. But I'm not sure exactly how far to go with my embellishments on the rest of the jacket. And I'm hesitant to sew these super long darts here until I figure out how I want to do the button band, because I think it will be easier to manipulate that when this isn't, affecting the layout of my fabric, if that makes sense. So maybe I can put a little picture of the pants somewhere on the screen, and then you can look at the jacket and tell me how far you think I should go with the embellishment, and I may take that into consideration. But don't get offended if I don't pick your suggestion. But that's where I'm at with that, and that is where I'm at with actual sewing in my sewing room. And also, I need to figure this button band out, because I am going to put a little bit of interfacing in here, and depending on whether this band is exposed or not exposed will determine what side of the fabric I put the interfacing on. I hope that makes sense. Let me turn the camera around. Okay, now that I have you positioned differently, I hope that my explanation kind of made sense, and I hope that you were able to see something, because I couldn't see anything on the screen due to my lighting situation here. But that's where I am with that. In addition to that, I didn't even mention what I was wearing. If anyone is interested, this is a Chelsea. No, this is not a Chelsea raglan tee. What is this? This is the Agostina boxy top from fabricstore.com. I just made mine out of scrap fabric and did some top stitching, and I am wearing it with my denim pants that I made a few videos back. I'll see if I can insert some kind of picture as to the top I'm wearing, and maybe a card to the video about the jeans. And as for moving forward, so yeah, I want to get this finished, and then outside of that, I'm just trying to figure out what kind of content to bring to you. I don't have a whole lot of subscribers, but I appreciate every one of you, and I appreciate everyone who comments on my videos. I am trying to create more content moving forward. I'm just not 100% sure how many people are interested in these flappy talk videos, or how many people just strictly want me to show you different things that I embellish, and you want that to only be the focus. If you're interested in the evolution of the decision making that I have with regards to why I pick what I pick and what changes I made to it and why, yeah, maybe leave in the comments what kind of videos you're interested in watching. But yeah, that's where I am in the sewing room right now. I think that's everything for this week. Yep, let me know what you're up to in your sewing room. Let me know what kind of content you want to see from me. Like the video if you like the video. Maybe let somebody you know that I'm here if you think that they might like my content. And yeah, guess that's everything for right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.